All right, and we're live. What's going on, everybody? Thanks for joining us. So today we got CEO and founder of Metacade, big gaming project I've been in this project since the inception. I've liked it a lot. Appreciate everybody for joining us. Russ, what's going on, man? Thanks for being here. How you doing today?
Yeah, cheers, Ron. All good, thank you. 7 o'clock in sunny England right now, so coffee in hand, ready to go. So thank you very much for inviting us on.
Well, thanks for coming on, man. And some people like, how do you know Russ? And I'll be honest, I just followed the project through the bear market when nothing was going on, and I tweeted about it, said things, and I guess I said smart things, and you responded to some stuff, and we kind of developed a light relationship, and we've been trying to do this live stream for about a month now, and here we are.
Yeah, it was definitely your smart comments that attracted me. That's for sure.
Yeah, I try to
typically a mixture of FOMO and abuse, really. So it's nice to see something smart out there.
Yeah, I try to be clever out there. I've gotten a few people's attention. So we'll go ahead and get started, because people don't want to hear about our relationship. They want to hear about about Metacade. So tell everyone a little bit about your background and what got you into starting a Web3 gaming company.
Yeah, sure. So for our community that have rolled in, which I can see there's quite a few. All right, guys, how you doing?
We're going to talk about
they've heard this 100 times before. So my background primarily is in platform building and business consultancy. How I got involved in Web3 was I was trading very similar to yourself, not probably at the level you are, but did well in the last bull run, focused primarily on gaming, and just saw a lot of holes in it. It was very early stage, realized the second wave was going to be far more interesting, far more opportune. And my platform business head started ticking, and I started scoping and planning Metacade probably 2 years ago now. So we're 8 months, approaching 9 months in January, operational. So it's we've done quite a bit in the short amount of time, I think. But that's the reason why I'm here is obviously a huge opportunity the next 2 years. But I think there's a different way of doing things as well. So that's starting to come across.
That's a great segue into the next question, actually, because that's the thing about Metacade. It's different than other gaming projects. And for anybody who's following me, is familiar with me or whatever, I follow a couple gaming projects. And with gaming, I don't look at it like other sectors of crypto. There's plenty out here for us all to eat in the gaming sector. There's gaming is such a big sector. So I don't look at it as competition with other projects as such. So, I follow some other projects, and I feel like the Gala model, if you want to call it that, with the node release for the tokens and just that kind of setup, it's been adopted by so many gaming projects, and that's fine. That's a fine method. But Metacade is not set up that way, and it really does differ from a lot of gaming projects. So, in your words, can you tell us a little bit about how Metacade differs from other Web3 gaming projects?
Yeah, so we kind of get put in this platform infra kind of niche within gaming. But most platforms that in theory we compete with, they primarily focus on this node model, the ability to SDK into loads of games. And I think that has its place, and I think it will do very well. I think everyone that's running a platform of a reasonable to high level will have real success in the next 2 years. But I just saw the user experience as really quite decentralized in a negative way, where I just felt looking a slightly wider, start to look actually the culture of gaming was a slightly better view, because it allowed us to hone in on areas that were successful. So we could double down and do a node structure and SDK in and compete with everyone else on that basis. But I do think that model is kind of temporary. Nodes work when tokens up, network activities up, and users are in. Nodes are. I unfortunately got involved in the big node run back end of the bull run, and they were not nodes; they were Ponzi schemes. So in that sense, it was all about emissions and new capital coming in. So I kind of, from my investment experience and looking at gaming, I just felt there was not really a good place to go, where you could look at a curation of good games, good earning opportunities, make friends, kind of generally chat. We're all Telegrams versus Discord versus this versus that. It's all very segmented, and no one's really compounding the value of their community either. So having a number of communities on one platform makes sense. That's how all social media platforms succeed. And I just feel there's not a really good GameFi, SocialFi platform out there, which I hope we fill that void. And I think we're doing a good job of trying to do that. But that's kind of our swimming lane, really. We are a game launcher, but we're not just that. We like to look at it more from a holistic point of view.
Yeah, it's like a hub is kind of how I view Metacade. You think that's a fair thing to say?
Yeah, and I still don't honestly know how it's going to turn out, because this is the beauty of developing a product live, is the community have been invaluable in shaping some of the beta elements of the product, but I still think there's a lot more to come. But equally, some of the ideas we have won't succeed, and we'll just need to probably wind those areas down and run with something else, because the fun with crypto is you have to run with common narratives as well if you're going to succeed, and that's an unusual pressure which I haven't experienced before. So yeah, it's definitely going to be a roller coaster next year, that's for sure.
Yeah, when we talk about token utility, I'll give some of my thoughts on the project and the token and those sorts of things. But it's going to come back and tie into some of the things you just said a little bit. And you touched on the Metacade community a little bit. And by the way, if you guys don't mind, like, share, subscribe, do all that good stuff. Let's help get the word out about Metacade. It helps the algorithm. I'm not somebody that normally shills like that, say like the stream or whatever, but just to help get the word out for Metacade. Do it for Russ and the project. So Metacade community. So I think it's fair to say that Metacade isn't as well known as some of these other gaming projects. Full disclosure, and everybody who follows me, watches me knows I'm a very honest person. I put Metacade right there with playable games and games for a living and like top tier gaming project in the bear market when I was assessing these things, 100%. And they don't have the market cap that those other two do right now. But one thing that I noticed about when I tweet about Metacade, and I don't look at the Twitter analytics, just from like what I see, I get a ton of engagement. Like there's a lot of people. And so the thing that surprised me about that is not as popular. It's not as shielded by big influencers as some of these other projects. But yet it seems like the community is really strong for Metacade. And when you do the AMAs, it's like the people, people by name. And I thought that AI project was really, really cool. Or competition you did was really, really cool. So if you don't mind saying a few words about the community and that competition, just to give an example to everyone who may not be familiar.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's safe to say that the community are driving a huge amount of engagement on Twitter, particularly at the moment. So shout out to them. We always set this up to be community driven, and that's reflective in our diluted supply right now. Like the tokens in the hands of the open market in the majority, which is interesting. Not many people have gone that route. So I think coming into a big run, there's no cliffs, there's no unlocks, all that good stuff.
We're going to talk about that for sure.
That's done. So for the community, every part of what we build block by block, we want people to see how it's done. I thought it'd be quite a unique experience. Now, don't get me wrong, building a product live and asking for opinion on listings, products, etc., has its ups and downs, of course, but we have probably, I'd say, at least a dozen people that have got a very keen product eye, and they've already helped us shape the releases on our beta platform. So the community is an integral part of what we do, and at naming the AI that goes into our platform, which effectively is going to be a guide or someone that shows you around the Metacade platform, the city, which we're evolving eventually. I thought it'd be prudent to ask them to name it. So we're down to the final 10. The panel has received the final 10 names, and they're down to the final 3. And I'm hoping we can announce that before Christmas. So I should get an answer Thursday, I believe, on what we're going to run with. And then the lucky winner gets $1,000 worth of Metacade for Christmas. So, and the majority of them are in this chat right now from the looks of it.
Yeah, like I said, I was really impressed with the community for Metacade. Just the like, if I post about Metacade or something compared to playable games or games for a living, the people reshare it and like it and a lot more than those other projects. And it makes me just think that Metacade is even a sleeping giant even more because of that. And that's just in my world, my corner of Twitter, what I see. But to me, those things matter.
Yeah, and we also don't have a cycle behind us. So I think it's a common conversation in Neo Tokyo is that what will run first is the household names, or at least the names that survived the last bull, because everyone has a benchmark, which is this was the previous all-time high. It's 95% down. At least if it's going to, a lot of them have pumped 100% plus, but they've done that partly because of legacy, but equally because they're a product and project that stuck around and continues to build. So fair play to them as well. So we're kind of unknown because we quietly built in Bear, and next year is where we make our splash. So
yeah.
It's going to be
If anybody knows me, follows me, they know I'm definitely I'm on the new stuff. I'm not too big on the stuff from last market cycle. I mean, there's some blue chips alts that I keep in there. Obviously, you don't want to go all new stuff, but by and large, I'm looking for the new stuff. I'm looking for the Metacades, the things like that. So
you've had some pretty good shouts from what I can see.
So do you mind sharing your screen, Russ? And we're gonna talk about the app model a little bit with the how you the fees in the app and things like that, and give a chance to explain it.
Yeah. So let's make sure everyone can see that. Cool. So this is from our AMA last 2 weeks ago, 7th. God, time flies. I thought it was last week. So our platform architecture is fairly clear. We have an earn area which allows people to engage in alpha tests, quests, learn to earn. We also have content opportunities coming, which our partners will want people to write reviews, Medium articles. That can translate into doing video reviews or streaming. So there's an opportunity to earn through those capabilities. So it's really housing, and also on the job side, whether it's with us or our partners, we've probably got about 30 to 40 jobs going live in the first quarter across our partners. So if you want to come to Metacade and just want to find out what the earning opportunity is, whether it's when you finish your job at the end of the day, whether you want to review up and coming games, there'll be a real choice. And that simply is what Zone 1 is all about, is the ability to pick and choose what you engage with. And that's the reason why you would come to Metacade if that's what you wanted to do. We have the gaming area, which is obviously going to be huge. And at the pink areas, by the way, are what's live. The rest of it's ready to go. We're just finishing these areas off, but tournaments will be huge for us. Merch will be huge. We've gone through a huge rebrand. We were an arcade Pac-Man brand to start with, but we're going to roll out a lot of our merchandise. In each of these areas, the most important thing, to go back to your question about community, is that we want the platform to give people the ability to launch their own products, their own ideas, their own groups, and allow it to become almost a self-serve economy. That's where you get real scale in platforms, when it's peer-to-peer. And I don't think anyone's done that effectively yet. Now, someone might do it tomorrow, but I think you have to build this stuff for 6 or 7 months to actually appreciate what it takes to get to this level already. And I don't see many doing it, which will be interesting to see if we catch that run early. And then we have the passes, which you'll see on the site, which are NFT passes with a difference. They're meta tags, they're preloaded with the ability to drop offers into them, airdrops of NFTs, tokens, etc., which our partners are getting geared up for next year. So yeah, in a nutshell, we're pushing towards more of a streaming tournament marketplace environment. We'll wrap elements of our platform for mobile use as and when required, and we get enough data to prove that that's what we should do. So yeah, the architecture is quite broad, but it's all based on the community culture, but once you build one area, you can build the others fairly fast. And the tournaments will be the big thing for us, I think.
That's what I get out of it too, that you put in a lot of bank in the tournament, and that's good because it brings the engagement, right? And like you said, the community kind of, you want to call it social media aspect almost of connecting people. Do you mind bringing up the screenshot where it talks about like the monthly or the annual and things like that? And by the way, we're giving away 5 annual passes to the Metacade, so Jim should be giving those out in the comments, doing his moderation. And if you get one of those, you'll be contacted by a moderator from the Metacade team, and they will send you the pass. And that's how that works.
Yeah, absolutely. Good luck, everyone. So yeah, we've broken down the model into three types of user or people in our platform. That is the tourist, which this is kind of proof of building something in an open market. We had an original idea for the tourist. We listened to the community. We removed the credit card requirement straight away because we're building real revenue in our business. We've already started to generate it, which is unusual for a project under their first year of building. It's all about the token and the token economy. But personally, I think the token economy works much better when real capital comes into the business and makes it sustainable. But if you're a tourist, you'll get to come and play games, look at the feed, look at what the opportunities are, general news really, tourist community groups, marketplaces. But then you move up to gamer. So as soon as you pay $1 a week, you get access to all of the earning capability on the platform. That's the fundamental difference between being a tourist and enjoying part of what we offer. In the earn, you can then really go on to competitions, prize draws, tournaments, get involved in some of the paid promotions from our partners. And then the final part, which is the Metacade tier, is all around the Web3 utility. So staking pools, which are private to those holders. And because the NFTs are programmed in a certain way, our pools will recognize who can get in, who can't. There'll be other incentives around private sales, which we're starting to get approached with. We're not going to push a out and out launchpad model, but we've had already 2 or 3 games come to us and say, if we give you X allocation, do you feel it's something you could put to at least to your community as a launchpad type scenario? So I think that's going to become quite common in the next 6 months. So yeah, that's our staged model. And the 3 areas are pretty clear. These are kind of zones in our platform. Come and look at us for free. Come and enjoy some earning capability. And if you really want to go all in on the Web3 piece, that's where you end up in the Metacade tier.
And I'm glad that you updated it where you can be a tourist, because I think when the app first came out, you had to pay, right?
The tourist was for a short period, but we still took your credit card credentials.
Okay, gotcha.
And being brutally honest, our platform wasn't ready for that. So we retracted that, put the hands up, and said, let's just clear that down. The noise was consistent enough in the community for us to listen.
Got you. So, and this is one of the first things we come to where we talked about tokenomics a little bit. We're going to talk about that a little bit more later. And this is one of the things where Metacade differs from other gaming platforms. So, they're taking this monthly fee, and a lot of game places aren't doing that, but it gives them the revenue to, and you can stop me if I'm wrong, because it's not like I've talked to you about this. This is just from my experience with projects. You got to have revenue from somewhere, and lots of crypto is vapor. It's moving money from one place to another place, and it's all just smoke and mirrors. So at some point, you got to actually have some money from somewhere, and that's where some of these other gaming projects. I'm not throwing any shade on them. I like other gaming projects too, but with the nodes, that's what they're doing. Kind of, it's like selling the nodes, forget the revenue to do some of these things. So you're going to pay for it out somewhere or another. I personally would rather this way. But it is a barrier. It is a barrier. I will say that. And some people, they don't want to pay for anything. So it just goes to an example of why it's a different setup. This money does go to all the things they need: marketing, development, pay the devs, all those kinds of things.
Yeah. And if I'll share this quickly, that's kind of our revenue model on our token site. So subscription revenue, tournament revenue, testing revenue, advertising revenue, partner studios subscribe. All of these things come into our funnel, which then allow these utilities to really start flywheeling. And it's a bold move, absolutely. But I also think if you've ever spoken to a gaming development company, that the most difficult thing is to market effectively with the budgets that they have. And the underlying reason for our business model is that if a studio is going to pay $1,000, $10,000 to build up their user base and to directly promote themselves to an audience that's engaged, then you do need a level of gating on your community to weed out the people that are just here as tourists and the people that actually really love the gaming space and will play your game and affect your product. And the partners absolutely love this. They've obviously never seen anything like it. So if they could spend $1 with us or $1 on Twitter ads, they're coming to us. And that's the reason why this flywheel is really going to start moving next year, because the partners are onboarding and they're getting ready.
Yeah, and like I said, it's another example of how this differs a little bit. But one thing that I heard in a stream from another gaming project that kind of relates to this, he said that this was just in why Web3 gaming is going to be so big. He said that gaming devs and they're not good at marketing and raising funds. And so if you're going with like the traditional way with it's big I don't know, Nintendo or whatever. I don't know, these big companies that you're beholden to like the corporate way of doing things. And with this Web3 gaming and crypto, it gives them a way to kind of raise revenue without being, overly business savvy, and then put all that in the game. So you're getting more like real game developer. I don't know. I'm not in the gaming space myself. That's just what he had kind of said. But
I mean,
it kind of relates to what you're saying.
Every partner we speak to, I'd say every second partner is looking to raise money. So that's a common theme. And also without, as you put, I like the way you say it, without putting shade on this, the partners they always seem to not leave enough for marketing. There's a real kind of not misconception, but just a theme in the industry that we spend 90% on an amazing product, but then we have literally a small budget to try and attract users in, and they normally underestimate the marketing spend by about 3 to 5 times. So it's a big void, but I've made the mistake of building great product and not realizing that you have to deliver a go-to-market. And when they come onto our platform, they're with a load of other games, with a load of other communities. The cross-pollination of that will be worth its weight in gold anyway. So that's why people are favoring this model at the moment, I believe.
Yeah, there's a lot to like here for sure. And I'm glad you touched on the partners. That just segues us into the next question, which was about the partners. And like, you guys are dropping a new part. Like, sometimes it's 2 in one day. How do you even know how many partners you guys have?
Yeah, we got 53 signed for Q1.
Why? And is that just kind of because of what a hub that Metacade is, or is it just you getting that many people involved, or what is the deal with so many partners?
I just can't stop Dennis doing it. To be honest with you, he's our head of partnerships. So we had the first few weeks, I was like, how on earth do you even approach gaming partnerships? Is it through Telegram, Discord, Twitter? It's so fragmented. It's like, from a BD point of view, it's horrendous. But then he just got into his groove, and a lot of people the projects we're aligned with are building for playable demo, alpha, kind of timing next year pretty well. And as a result, they trust in the fact that we're building alongside them. So we all seem to be on this consistent, like, building bear journey, which I think has just helped us all get together and say that. I mean, at some point he was doing 3 or 4 partnerships a week, but the reason why there is so many is because we want to have as many people on the platform as possible that will look at game A, love it, but then go and visit game B, C, and D. And that value which you can offer across platform is huge for partners, particularly when they'll spend a lot less with us to onboard. So commercially, it makes sense for us to broaden our horizons on the partnership side of things. Plus, there's the quality of games, the teams, the studios, they've all upped their game from the last run. It's significantly different than first time round.
Right. Yeah. And everything you say is just making me more bullish on Metacade, to be honest with you. And some of these questions, I am jotting them down as they go, but I'm going to ask some of them. So we'll ask Russ some questions at the end. And I am jotting some of these down. So future updates. You said you had some alpha to drop that was unknown, that just happened today. Yeah. So I know probably get some eye emojis in the comments now. So can you touch a little bit on that?
Yeah, sure. So when bridge to Polygon. Okay, so this is a technical breakthrough for us. It's not complete, but it has been proven in testnet. So there is a caveat to this. It's not happening tomorrow. But we have found a way to port the value of the Metacade token to a side chain. So, for example, Polygon. So what that means is we now can use our token in the games that we've built, future games that we build, and use them for subscriptions and other utilities on the platform. So we've just dramatically enhanced our utility of our token, because what that will allow us to do is offer our community Polygon level gas fees to operate their Ethereum token on our platform, which is huge. So it's called I'm going to read the exact wording because it's not my bag, a cross-chain protocol with a build-up system and queue service. So for anyone technical out there, you probably know what that means. But the guys have proven that we can port our token without moving our liquidity, doing a full migration and actually weaponize our platform, utilizing much lower gas fees with the tokens that people hold in their wallets today. So it opens up a huge opportunity for utility for next year. So yeah, that's literally the first time I've said it out loud. That's why I've gone quiet, because we've been working on it for the last 4 to 5 days straight, and it's now proven. So we're going to start pushing it from testnet into probably one of our first games, which people seem to love, Jetpack. Put a tournament around that, start utilizing the Metacade token in that game, and see how we do. And if it works, we roll out across the board. So that for me would be the cherry on the top.
So, and we're going to talk about Metacade utility in a second, but just so, because before it was like in the background, it changed USDC on Polygon, and it was kind of, but you were still using the Metacade token. So now that's gone, if I understand what you just said, right?
It's only because a few upgrades were ran in the last 4 weeks. It kind of, one of our devs kind of flagged it to us and said, look, we could probably do this. So we ran a testnet model. It's very good timing.
So this is huge, and I'm not playing this update up because I already saw it coming that people were going to say Metacade had no utility because you're really using USDC, even though I understood how it gets transferred and that you're actually saving the users on fees. But now you can't even say that.
No,
so that is actually a big alpha drop.
Yeah, so we were going to do all of that behind the scenes, but it comes down to your community member looking at that and saying, I physically am not using MK to enter this tournament. So you're going to use USDC on Polygon to save you on the fees. My other thought was you would have to migrate your liquidity over and do all of these things, because it's the first time I've run a project like this. And fortunately, that's not the case. There's an ability to cross bridge, inverse gas, do all of these crazy things that are now possible, which weren't possible before. It means that effectively you can run your platform as a layer 2, but leave your token on layer 1. What that means is we can code the smart contract to burn a percentage every time someone enters. We can literally turn up the volume on deflation if we want. Like, it gives us a plethora of possibilities. It's very similar, as Chris points out, to wrapping. So you wrap it, you port it, and it allows you to transact with Polygon level fees. So it's like having your own layer 2, but utilizing a side chain. That's what we've kind of proven this week. So yeah, pretty mad.
Yeah, and like I said, I'm gonna talk about my thoughts on the token and Metacade on the project and everything like that. But wow, that is really big, and I'm not playing it up for the stream. That is big because I already saw that coming as some if you want to call it light FUD as the project started to come on. Somebody would say, well, it doesn't really have utility because you're using USDC. So that's really big. So another thing when we talk about generating income that this ties in, I know you're making NFTs soon. So I was going to ask you when NFTs. But the thing I like, you haven't made them yet, because that's another thing that a lot of platforms do is they sell NFTs that have no utility or anything. It's just a money grab to try to get funds for the project. And you guys didn't do that either. But you are coming out with NFTs, because I like to say sometimes Metacade, there's not just another project with no token release and NFTs that try to go into the games, but you guys are coming out with NFTs. So would you like to speak on that at all?
Yeah, we're gonna start with the marketplace. So we have a partner that's built our NFT passes, which we're talking to, called Somnio, which run a really great product called Metafuse. They have a track record in building really effective marketplaces. We view the NFT market as something which should be more community driven. We have a lot of artists in our group, for example. So for them to be able to literally build collections in under 10 minutes and post to a marketplace and earn off the back of their skills and their talent is more of the direction that we would go whilst onboarding partners' NFT collections. Once we get it up and running and it settles, we'll then look at our own for sure. But yeah, the ability to run a marketplace with this kind of layer 2 structure will again affect the emission levels on Metacade, which again is another tied in utility. And I suppose the fight I've had this year is just because Metacade isn't being used directly in doesn't mean the token is not being affected by it. And my view is take all the heavy lifting away from the user. We'll do all that and affect the token in the correct fashion. You just enjoy yourselves. So fortunately, the breakthrough we had this week will allow us to do the NFT marketplace in a slightly different way. In-game assets, NFTs, tokens, this cross-bridge queue service allows us to touch every type of asset on chain now. So it kind of it's forced us to rethink things in a good way. So yeah,
sounds good, man.
Happy.
So talking about cross-chain stuff, because people ask in the comments, people want to know all the time, when Polygon, are you going to bridge to Polygon where people can buy it on a DEX and not pay these crazy ETH gas fees?
Yeah, so we will definitely, we've always said, and I've probably quoted this in about 7 AMAs, but we definitely will consider strongly a migration. We'll probably look at that around Q2 of next year. If we prove in this Q1 period that we can port and utilize Metacade on a layer 2, that kind of gives us the green light to push on and look at a migration. We proved that this week, so it would be safe to say that migration is on the cards. There's also an ETH update coming in April. I'm not holding out too much hope that the gas fees suddenly disappear on ETH, but I think Polygon at the moment looks like a front runner, but we are getting approached by a lot of independent chains with some quite interesting alternatives. So a couple more meetings this week. Migration is part of our thought process though. So yeah, I think if we're kind of pivoting slightly towards a higher frequency of usage as a result of this breakthrough. So I do think that gives us the edge without rolling out nodes and building our own blockchain, etc.
So that's really good news. I know it because everybody get that a lot. Because a lot of US users, especially, because it is on a few exchanges, but it is a little bit harder to get to, and then they have to pay the ETH gas fees. That's why we don't like it.
Yeah.
And you guys used to be on Mexc, and you delisted yourselves. Actually, do you want to speak on that? Because I get asked that. So I saw what the Twitter put out and stuff, but and you don't have to speak on it if you don't want to. But if you want to touch on it,
I'll speak about anything. Yeah, I still get roasted on that one actually. So this is the joys of running a Web3 project is when you're in pre-sale, then you delist from Mexc, and now almost it's like, well, should we go back on Mexc now? Because I understand it's actually a platform that people use in the US. So yeah, we got the heads up on, let's just say, we had a lot of heavy selling going on. It didn't quite make much sense, and we looked into it further. Off record, on record, I saw enough to ask the community what they thought. I kept fairly impartial. My opinion isn't final in our project, but the community voted for us to delist, so it wasn't my decision. Wow. But I certainly looked at the facts, felt that there was enough there to bring it to the community's attention, and the community made their decision. I honoured it. I think we're probably one of few, if not the only project to actively come off an exchange, which every day you go into Telegram or Discord, the first question is, when's the next listing? Right. And we decided to, even under selling pressure, come off a listing and focus on what we were doing. So it was a bold move. The community ultimately were the deciding factor on that, and I have no regrets on that one. From what I knew, it's absolutely the right thing to do.
Yeah, and that's fine. And when it happened, it wasn't like it happened and the Twitter didn't address it or act like nothing was happening. They talked about it, and I thought it was a good thing. It made me give a little more trust in the project. They didn't think something was right going on in Mexc. There's been plenty of accusations about Mexc and shady activity. It looked to me, sometimes I see like this, if an asset looks like it's heavily botted, it looks kind of a certain pattern, lots of wicks. Yeah. It gives me, and that's what I kind of felt was happening to Metacade. And then like the spread is huge between the buy and the sell orders. So, but to the point, are you coming out with another exchange anytime soon?
Yeah, obviously not this year because we've only got a few days left. So for me, we'll start looking at it again in Q1. We don't have a definitive timeline. The misconception in listings right now is I would challenge anyone to say, right, X project listed on Y, look at the uptake of it. I mean, bar bursts of meme season, I haven't seen a commercially justifiable reason to spend that amount of money on a listing at the stage that we're at, and that frustrates people, but I have to protect capital. I've got to make sure that we hit the ball run hard, and yeah, absolutely, I think we need to list in the right way at the right time, and I just feel like we're getting quite close now to being ready. So Q1, Q2, we'll start looking at things seriously again.
And the last project founder I had up here, the Mass founder, Kari Hero, we talked about that as well because he's primarily listed on DEXs as well. And kind of, he's like, obviously the money is a factor and I need to pay the devs and all that. But it's also, that he kind of said, well, we're Web3 here, right? So we need, why is everybody, so worried about a central exchange? If this is all Web3 and we're going all in like this, then we need to be more used to DEXs. Which the thing with Metacade, I do understand, is the ETH gas fees. So this is what somebody smarter than me said about it. Ivan on Tech. I heard him talk about it one time. He's a pretty smart guy. He said that look at ETH gas fees as the price you pay for the real estate. He said like it's a lot easier to make money in Manhattan than it is Iowa. For people familiar with the United States.
Yeah.
So ETH is the rent you pay to make that money. And Russ, I'm definitely well versed on new projects coming out. And when I look across chains, the different screeners, yeah, ETH's the stuff that has the best stuff generally. And obviously other chains have good stuff coming out, but it's just kind of the price you pay sometimes to play the game and get your hands on whatever the asset is that may be on ETH. So
yeah, I think it's down to the business case as well, isn't it? I think DeFi lives primarily on ETH, and there's a legacy there, like the previous gaming bull run clients that ran harder than us maybe in the last few weeks. There's a lot of legacy there, and I think I can see why the Solana piece is coming back in. I met some people in London recently about it, and there's big plans there. I can totally see why people are going to migrate to different chains again, but it's no different than the last run. This happened last time, and there was a hot chain of the week, and we're just going to see this rotating after rotation after rotation, because people can't help themselves. That's what's going to happen, and we're starting to see it with Cosmos and things. So I fully expect it to be a multi-chain bull run again. And the fees will be astronomical. I mean, even AVAX struggled at the weekend, I think. There was a $64 fee on a transaction, which I never thought I would see. So they still have upgrades to go through as well.
It happened in the last bull, like in 2022 in spring, you start to see those AVAX charges go up like that. So I knew that was a possibility as well. Yeah. And I AVAX is starting to come out with some layer 2s as well. So that lets you know right there. And I like Solana a lot. I like a lot of the things that they have going on. So talking about Metacade and some utility, do you mind bringing up the screenshot about the Metacade utility, the MK token utility?
Yeah.
And while you look for that, I'll speak on the token. Well, actually, I'll let you go through that first, and then I'll speak on the token. But while you look for that, I'll say a few words. And Metacade, all throughout the bear market, I had a feeling that gaming was going to be the biggest gains. So I just really kept focusing and watched for new gaming projects popping up. And I kept my eye on things and found Metacade, and here we are. So here we go. He's got the screenshot up. So do you want to talk about some of this, Russ?
Yeah, so this has obviously changed since this morning in a good way. It's just like there should be a second slide now, but yeah, effectively it's very simple. Everything that the business generates in its activities, whether it's partner or consumer revenues, a percentage of those revenues go to driving the utilities. So whether these are buybacks, whether these are burns, whether these are populating staking pools for certain tiers of user. So yeah, I mean, that coupled with now the potential of the high frequency usage on the platform every day. The funny thing is we get challenged on our utility a lot as a platform, but I've done a deep dive on everyone in the space, and it's very linear in terms of what platforms offer. Like you look at any of the big names, which I think are going to do really well, but you look at Myria, G Swift, all those guys, you hold the token, you hold a node, and you double down on it. I mean, that's the utility, that is it. All we're doing is just showing people how the revenue affects it. And that sometimes offers a bit of confusion, but we maybe should just gone, hold this token, everything we do, we burn 11%, and that's it. And that might have been an easier thing to swallow, but I just wanted people to understand how we get sustainable.
For all in-app token use, you burn 11%. That's how it goes?
No, just as an example. So we will regulate the buybacks based on the deflationary goal, because obviously we don't want to burn out a huge amount of supply. In theory, you could, but that's quite a dangerous game if you want to be sustainable long term. So we're looking at sensible numbers of burn rate during 2024, 2025. We actually put our burns up on our site as well, so people can see the transactions, where they've gone, why they've gone there. So yeah, that will obviously happen on a higher frequency now we've had this breakthrough as well.
Cool. There's a lot of questions about how much is in circulating supply at the moment. About 80%, I think.
So yeah, so 70% was the initial pre-sale allocation to the market. We decided to reduce our raise target, so that surplus token supply went into the first 2 rounds of staking pool. So we're in staking pool number 2 now, and we've also burnt about $160,000 worth of supply. So I believe the current supply is, if I just call up the token site, because we've got the burn here.
I believe we had it about 80%, if I remember correctly, when we checked it out recently.
Yeah, where's the burn gone? Yeah, so we burned just over 2 million-ish. Yeah, 21 million we've burned. So yeah, we've got about just shy of 80% in the market.
Any getting unlocked anytime soon?
There's no unlocks. There's no team.
So it's 80. So it's all on circulating supply, but so the 80% is because of what's been burned.
No, it's 80% because we got staking pools. So
okay, gotcha.
Which is crazy, really. We had about 23% of our circulating supply tied up in the second staking pool in like 3 days. So it's madness, really. So yeah, we don't have VCs. We don't have large. Well, we have. I'm sure we have whales, but not in our structure, and we don't have any unlocks on large holders or anything. So this is where I think we have the edge, and people are probably starting to work that out. That actually having quite a strong diluted supply going into bull run means that there's no surprises coming.
Big time. And I wanted to check something. I just wanted to. Okay, the market cap right now is 17 million. That's it.
Yeah.
So I'm going to speak on the token a little bit, and then Russ said he has the platform up. If you want to show a little bit people about a peek inside the Metacade, if you want to get that, and I'll speak about the token a little bit and my thoughts on it. So like I said, I'm an early adopter. I found about this project from the beginning, and as Russ alluded to earlier, it doesn't have a market cycle of bag holders behind it like some of these projects. That's something I look for a lot. I like the newer stuff. Now, where Metacade differs, and this is why I think it hasn't had quite as much success to this point. For when it came out and what the valuation was, it was much higher than some of these other gaming projects. So it did sell off some as, through the bear market into the pump more. And I've seen it had a little bit more struggle getting through some of those levels as it goes up. But like I said, this isn't from 4 years of bag holding. It just came out earlier this year. So I expect once it kind of gets through some of this selling and has some more big green candles, that the FOMO is going to come in because it's not as well known. And when I compare it to these other gaming projects, and look, I like some of these other gaming projects. It's not like all of a sudden screw them and I'm all this. I like, but this is in the top 3 gaming projects that I like. I'll say that and leave it at that. And when I compare it to other ones, it's different, and Russ has went over why it's different. He's went over a lot of reasons why it's different. Mm-hmm. Now, is different good? Yeah, different's good. Different can be good, but do we know for a fact the market is going to accept it because it is different? No, we don't know that. And you even kind of alluded to that you don't know if some of these things are going to work. But you can just do another node gaming project with no token release, and this doesn't have that. And when he talks about like long-term holds, because some people, they love the community, they want to get in the project, they want to, like, I believe in the 5-year term of this market, even if I hold through the bear market. What happens with these node releases is during the bear market, it kills it. If you think 10 years from now, like the token as the releases go is going to hold value through a bear market, is not. Now, maybe we're at the stage where we won't see these vicious bear markets like we have in the past. But until we see that, I have to assume that we're going to continue to see that. So where these other gaming projects, like say one I know well, it releases 13,500,000 tokens a day. Metacade is not releasing anything. I mean, you've heard what he said, and they're actually going to burn. It's going to get less in supply. I mean, there's just so much here to be bullish on. The market cap, I mean, when I consider the top tier gaming project at 17 million, the other things that I consider top tier gaming projects, playable games, games for a living, some of these ones you mentioned, the market cap is much higher. Yeah. And I don't know, man. I just have to feel that the market cap is going to balance itself out. And when it's easy to do the math on Metacade because it's so much a circulating supply. So when I do these other ones, if I'm projecting 6 months out, I got to get a calculator out for sure. I have to read the white paper and figure out the token unlocks. There is none of that with Metacade.
No.
So there's just so much here to like. I feel like I don't have enough. I don't care what the price is. I don't care what the ETH gas fees are. I try to buy it when I can or when I'm online or whatever the case is. So
that's the price for real estate, isn't it?
Yep. So that's some of my honest thoughts. And people that follow me, watch me know I'm really honest about these things. If I didn't like Metacade, we wouldn't be talking right now. And I think it is the best value for a gaming project that I know right now. There's one other that I know about on Solana that I think is a really good value. I do not think it's on the level as Metacade. And I don't want to say that because that's in the private group. But when it comes to things that are known that I put out there, Metacade is the best value that there is.
I appreciate that. And that's the reason why we agreed to do this, because you and I did not know each other probably weeks ago. And your pretty strong and fair appraisal of everything you've reviewed was what encouraged me to talk to you and do this, because we certainly don't know everything. And if there's an opinion or an idea or some risk ahead, it's worth us knowing about it in advance. And I do think that the one major thing that's been overlooked is everyone we kind of competing for space and market cap with have big cliffs coming. I mean, I again, not putting shade on anything, but when you look at circulating supplies of 4%, but the narratives are strong, you're getting sold into at some point. It's the reality of the situation. With us, it's we're coming up with ways to buy back post market to go again.
Yeah.
So it's a very different animal in that sense.
Yeah, and like one more thing about nodes, and I kind of say like they get diluted, as the token release comes in the bear market. And for me, nodes are no, and I don't care what the project is, because it locks you into something for too long. And I don't want to do that. And I did okay with some nodes last market cycle. We talked about it a little bit. I was in strong like early enough to do okay, but then I bought some as it went down.
I like the iterations that came out after. So Thor was strong for a while. We kind of all sat in Vaporfy and a few other things, mainly on other chains because it made more sense to be. But you're right, but strong looked like a home run until it wasn't, and that's the thing. So,
and I did I was stupid. I bought the dip on it a little bit and ended up, I was way up on it and I don't know what I ended up being on. But it just it was a lesson more than anything. I don't even care about the money or whatever happened with Strong, but it's more, it taught me a lesson. Like, it's all good, but you're betting, because with nodes, you're like, okay, I'm do the math. If it stays good for 3 months, I can get my money or whatever the case is. But you're banking, like hoping that it will, and it locks you into it. You can't get out. So just for me personally, nodes are no. But for some people who like passive income things, some of them might be okay. But for me, generally, nodes are no.
Yeah. I think unless the chain has a dedicated use case and they're affordable and portable and accessible, I think that there's a case for a node. But even the ETH nodes are now way too expensive, and you don't really get much bang for your buck. So
no.
I think it's better probably to target money in other things.
Real quick before you get into that, I'll just put it out so people stop hearing me talk. I do have a Telegram for anybody who's maybe new to the market in the Metacade community. Hit Jim up and he'll help you out if you're interested in that. Russ is in there, so he can tell you. It's quite a bit of it's Alpha Central in there. We got a lot of things going on.
Yeah,
a lot of new tokens, a lot of things what I don't put out on Twitter. So if anybody's interested in that, hit Kim up for that. So anyway, let's check out Metacade, Russ, see what we got going on here.
Yeah, so this is our beta platform for those who haven't seen it. So the feed is probably very Twitter-like. The ability, we've obviously got light and dark mode. Got absolutely crucified for launching with light mode, but now we have dark, so all the gamers are happy. This just lists all of the opportunity, all of the announcements from our current partners, opportunity for beta keys, alpha testing, 10K bonuses. So anything that's of value you can find in the earn feed. We have communities, which if you're lucky to be one of the original pre-salers, we have our own private chat, which is already built in, platform ideas, and obviously welcome to Metacade when you arrive. We have the games, which Chris here, who's in our chat right now, came up with. These are our 3 games: Neon Jet, Neon Jump, and Neon Hit. those are the 3 games that we're going to look to utilize the Metacade token within, and then run 48-hour tournaments where the prize pool is then issued immediately to the top 1 or 3 positions. And we're just going to run 48-hour loops. They're free to play at the moment, and there's some decent scores coming in. So people are getting ready for the tournaments to start. But these are our partners. Ember Swords is very popular. So it's improvements across all of it. But yeah, we've got lots to roll out, and sort of the bulk of the rollout will occur in Q1. So
man, those graphics look great.
I think we've done. Considering we're chasing competitors that have been around for probably 2 years, maybe 4. We're not doing too bad, although there's a lot to improve upon. So we've got a busy Q1, lots of sprints, lots of releases. Get ready for Q2. There is a reason why we launched this at the time we did, but we need to make sure we're ready, and I'm pretty sure we will be. So yeah, this is the platform. You can come and join it for free and enjoy it, and join the groups, give us your thoughts, and we listen to everything that people say. And if there's a really good idea, we'll probably push that for a release the following week.
Man, that I'm telling you, I thought the quality on that was really high, Russ, and I thought that previously when I checked Metacade out that the quality was better than other gaming, some other gaming platforms I looked at. So that was pretty much all that I had. So I'm gonna talk about some of the things I saw in the chat. One person asked, "What is your ideal customer?"
On the front or the back end? So the front is our gamer consumer side. From a partner point of view, it's a project which has a playable demo or is close to having a playable demo that wants feedback, increase their user rate, and then eventually position their community on our platform. That's the ideal customer for us. On the front end, it's probably our more gaming focused community members that love the product, want to contribute to the evolution of it, and go out there and do what they do on Twitter every day. So that's on the front and the back. That's the ideal scenario for us.
So how do you attract devs? What ensures you to try to attract quality devs to the project?
We do a lot of on-chain analysis of games, looking at user rates, looking at obviously if there's a serious team behind the game. So the approaches aren't sporadic. Dennis has probably got a wide list of around 200, 250 projects. Polygon have been great. They refer very actively based on our collaboration, which we did a few months ago. So I'd say every week we get 2 to 3 recommendations from Polygon, and that in the main generally turns into a partnership. So that's pretty solid. So yeah, in that sense, we've got Polygon fighting our corner, which is great. And a couple of other chains, independent chains, starting to refer projects as well. So
I'm sure money helps. People paying that. You got to pay these guys. You want good devs. You gotta pay them.
Yeah, and I made the mistake in the previous run. The amount of Unreal Engine videos I invested in with no game behind it. We need to see something playable, or we need to have seen it ourselves before we list it, because there was a lot of rugs in the previous cycle. Just go through your portfolio of zeros after the last bull run, and you can just see probably about 50% of the projects that promised are no longer here. So, and again, that will be the case, no doubt. So.
And me and my team, we look at things really thorough. We come up with those reports that you've probably seen before. I mean, we read the right paper, the tokenomics. We contact the Telegram normally. Look at if there's Morales money statistics on it, Dex tools. I mean, we really check things out for sure before we get into things. Sometimes we ape into things just for fun, but you know how it goes. So I'll put this question up here because can you see that on the screen, Russ?
Yes. Yeah. Absolutely.
Okay. So could you cover the difference between the Metacade Pass sequence wallet and a Web3 browser wallet? For example, if a third party wants to airdrop me, do I need to connect through Zelly or whatever services?
Okay, cool. Good question. There's 2 layers to that. So Sequence Wallet is a wallet which has been developed effectively on top of MetaMask. It's a company in Canada, and we chose them as our wallet provider, mainly because of the social sign up, the ease in which setting up a wallet can be quite heavy friction. So the Sequence Wallet, you can use elsewhere. Now you just need to log into it. If other games, a lot of games in the space are starting to use a sequence wallet. So if you ever find those, you can log in using that wallet. It behaves exactly like a Web3 browser wallet, just so you know. For example, if the third party wants to airdrop me, do I need to connect through Zlee? No, if there's any airdrops that occur on our platform, they'll go directly into your wallet address that's attached to your profile. So you don't need to go and collect. If we're sending you to Zlee to do a quest or something, then yes, the localized airdrop would occur over there, but you would have to have signed up to Zlee to achieve that connection, and they'll drop it into the wallet that you do. So hopefully that makes sense. So with us, everything to do with your profile is attached to your sequence wallet. Anything you do externally, it will ask you for the wallet it wishes to connect. If you're airdropping externally, that's where it will go. If we're airdropping into our site, it will go to your sequence address.
Right on. Sound like a great explanation. So my admin, Jim, so it's spelled with a C, but it's pronounced Jim. He asked about the Tokyo, the Neo Tokyo partnership. Have you had any further things you want to talk about with that?
Yeah, so the kind of rite of passage within Neo Tokyo is I fortunately timed, it's probably my best ever NFT buy, was to 6-7 months ago pick up an S1, which is a graded citizen pass to access Neo Tokyo as a citizen. And as recently as last week, I finally completed the project founder profile, which was approved. So in that sense, I'm now a recognized founder. I have access to certain things within Neo Tokyo, which you're not allowed to talk about. But they are opening up possibilities around more aligned partnerships. I've gone through all of that process as well. So I'm just waiting on effectively the council or the citadel within there to offer judgment on our application and our deck. And fingers crossed, we can align and support the partners in a slightly more effective way and make it official. But that's down to them to decide or come back and critique what offer we've made. So we're in the process of just waiting to find out really now. So now nothing to report officially, but I think we've made a pretty compelling claim that we can really help the partners within Neo Tokyo, and if so, we'll publicly state that upon their permission, but nothing to add at this point.
So one more question. Well, two more. So somebody just put one. So when pirate game?
What's pirate?
So I guess you're not getting the pirate game. That's when.
Sorry. It's Joss as well. Sorry, mate.
And when 48-hour tournaments? And this is the last question.
The intention is with this breakthrough, it's high priority for January. So we want to start moving forward as quickly as possible now. So it has moved to the top of the list.
Okay. Well, we're going on an hour now. We don't want to drag the stream on too long. Russ is a very busy guy, so let's let him get right and spend the rest of the evening with his family. But very much appreciate you coming on here. It's a great opportunity for me and the channel and some of the people that have been following the project for a while to do this live stream. Get a little bit different vibe than an AMA. So other people, other projects, check it out. Lots of times AMAs is just a community. So fam, and this isn't to promote me, like, share, and subscribe, share this video, try to get the word from Metacade out. I feel it was a good live stream. I think Russ, we asked good questions. He touched on a lot of things. What else more could you want to know about it? I honestly, I'm not just saying this. It's not, I'm not some whale. I'm not like, buy Metacade, so I'll dump my bags on you. I don't have that kind of bag. I'm saying this because I really believe Metacade is the most undervalued project in gaming right now, and on chart, I think it looks good too. So.
Yeah, we finally got a bit of structure, I think. So,
yeah.
I think that, and I learned the other day from talking to people, professional traders like yourself, that until structure appears and people can trust in a level of predictability in it, that's when traders come in, your volume starts moving, and things get a little bit interesting on that front. And I think we're getting close to that now. So I appreciate Ron, and obviously big Merry Christmas to everyone, because this will be the last time I'll be seen on a stream until the new year now. So I hope everyone has a great one. And thank you all. Thanks for the invite, and thank you all for turning up in what is reasonably late.
Right.
lovely English evening.
Absolutely. So thanks for the last words, Russ. And, once again, just to echo Russ, Merry Christmas for everybody. Thanks for everybody tuning in, especially to the end like this. And hopefully everybody got something out of it, and try to share this video and get the word out about Metacade, because I really think that's the main thing. They just need more exposure. So appreciate it. Thanks again for the time, Russ. And thanks for everybody stayed in to the end. Later, guys.
See you later, guys.